that was, well, we've been through a fair hard time this season, and we've done a lot of things that would potentially cost a lot of people their jobs or cause a lot of trouble for Salford fans on a day-to-day basis, and it makes light of the whole process and just says that it's a toy and he doesn't take it seriously, and he's quite prepared to chuck his toys out of the pram as and when it suits him. But he certainly is good value, and he certainly is entertaining.
Right. Well, I don't necessarily. Yeah, on that side of things, we'll agree to disagree. But in terms of the actual fighting,
it's absolutely abhorrent and shouldn't be a part of the game.
It's an issue that we need to deal with. It seems like this one is being dealt with appropriately. I feel a little bit sorry for the organisations within the two clubs, myself, and certainly the Hull KR organisation, because they conducted themselves, well, Hudgell conducted himself with real class and appropriateness, and a large proportion of their fans did exactly the same as a large proportion of the Salford fans did. I've got no problem with the Salford fans that went on the pitch purely to celebrate.
No, I have.
Either. And that was almost all of them.
Yeah.
But I really hope that little scrote who kicked a bloke in the head on the floor and then ran off, I hope he's sorted out. Yeah. That lad who just went running around trying to start fights but not really standing around to be in them.
Well, there was a lot of dishonourable conduct in terms of, that sort of stuff.
There was that Salford fan who was excessively restrained when that Hull KR lass kept smacking him on the head, and he just kept walking away.
Yeah.
I mean, credit to him for not reacting like other people reacted to that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I would say.
But look,
I would.
They're going to get. Let's hope they get dealt with, and let's hope it's severely done.
One thing we know is no one who listens to this podcast will have been involved in that violence. Because that's just not who our listener base has shown themselves to be.
No.
I hope that the people that were involved are sorted out and punished accordingly.
Yeah. Well, away from that, what a fantastically entertaining and exceptionally exciting end to the Championship, the Middle Eights, whatever you want to call it, season, and what a phenomenal advert for the sport in terms of the drama that we can put forward as part of our product. It's wonderful, isn't it? So congratulations to Hull and congratulations to Salford, and commiserations to Hull KR. There were another couple of games being played out on Sunday, 3 to be specific. Bradford Bulls lifted the Championship shield with a 27 points to 16 victory over the Sheffield Eagles. Toulouse won the promotion final. Perhaps it was more of a close game than some were anticipating. 32 points to 22 over Barrow. So Toulouse take their place in the Championship for next season, and commiserations to Barrow.
Great season by Barrow, though. I don't think anyone would have expected them to be in this sort of position, effectively third place in the league and fighting for this. I don't think, well, maybe other people, but I just might have expected it. I didn't expect it. I think they've done a great job.
Okay, so the final game of the weekend that we're going to talk about is the NRL Grand Final. Mark, my Sharkies finally did it. The better part of half a century of waiting, and they were 14 points to 12 winners over the Melbourne Storm. Yeah,
over to you on this one. Really, it's your boys. Finally, you can talk about some sort of glory and happiness.
That's it. Although it is tempered by the fact that what we were talking about happened to Paul Gallen prior to be recording. Captain Fantastic Paul Gallen.
You mean the painkillers?
The pain medication. Look, we don't give out anything stronger than ibuprofen at Sharp Park.
Of course, at
Sharp Park these days.
And a reaction to that sort of painkiller might cause you to have to be on a drip after.
Of course it does. Of course, I'm certain. And look, come on now. Are you telling me that people like Wada aren't absolutely all over Cronulla? There's no way it can be happening. Look, to be honest with you, at half-time, 8-0 up. I thought they were playing very well, particularly Andrew Fafita. I thought had an excellent game, dominant throughout, and the pack for Cronulla really did a great job against what I thought would be a really tricky opposition in Melbourne. And when they went in at 8-0, in the back of your mind, you're thinking to yourself, is that going to be enough? And is when the comeback inevitably happens, are they going to have the fortitude to withstand that, and have they done enough work whilst they've had the opportunity to do so to give themselves enough of a lead? And fortunately that proved to be the case.
You must have been scared that the Storm were going to come back into it, and in fact they did.
To be honest, if Cooper Cronk had played anything like Cooper Cronk they would have been winners, because Cam Smith had a phenomenal game. I've seen different stats, but in both cases, over 70 tackles made by Cameron Smith, which is just an outstanding performance, but it's indicative of the level of work he was made to do as well.
It's unbelievable, that, isn't it?
Yeah, 70. I mean, even if it's only 71, even if it was only 71 tackles, and I've seen them.
I think 71 might be the successful tackles.
I've seen both stats, but that is just astounding, isn't it? When we talk about a guy who makes 50 or 60 tackles, having had a worldy game, that's phenomenal. And yeah, Cooper Cronk was definitely off his game, but there was enough going on in that Sharks team, and people like Maloney turned up, and yeah, like I say, at half time you thought if the comeback happens and they really turn on the heat, then we could be in trouble here. So actually, the thing that I think won it for us was backing ourselves and mental fortitude. And let's not forget that coming into the finals, there'd been that dip in form and they'd lost a couple of games, and the questions were being asked because they dropped out of top spot, and there was that wobble. But then through the final series, even then, the win against North Queensland makes you think that they've got the mental fortitude to go ahead and get a result, and they absolutely did. And it's a wonderful story for rugby league, the perennial loser and the perennial outsider and the perennial wooden spoon winner coming out on top and picking up their first proper title mark. It was fantastic, and with any luck there'll be a World Club Series over here next year, and I can go and cheer them along in person, which will be phenomenal. I'm so excited for that, more than anything else. You must have caught this one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I genuinely thought at half time you'd not done enough.
Yeah.
I thought. What was the half-time score?
8-0.
8-0, yeah. So it was very similar to the Wigan Hull FC game, in terms of the level of dominance and the position of one team not getting going at all, and the other team really, being on top of the other team, doing as much as they could in the game to be ahead. Apart from they couldn't score that third score or second try really in this one, weren't it? But they deserve to have a 14-16 point lead with the sort of dominance and the way they had performed from metre 0 to metre 90.
Yes.
But you just can't. I couldn't see the Storm not winning at that stage, and they came back into it and they scored some really decent tries, and the Chambers try was great individual play by him off the back of
the little palm off from Cameron Munster.
Yeah, but off the back of the team starting to break structure because structure wasn't working, because the structured players like Cronk weren't performing.
Yeah.
And it just got to a point where I couldn't. And then Fafita pops up and scores a try, and it's unbelievable for any player. Though, I mean, the NRL probably wanted someone else to.
He's not exactly the poster boy for good behaviour, is he? But no, that last couple of minutes. With Melbourne doing everything they could to break us, honestly, I couldn't. It got me out of my seat without me realising it. That's how compelling it was as a spectacle. It's one of those things where I was literally, I'd been lying down on the couch. I'd been watching it with a bit of hangover, and I was, I kind of become more engrossed, and sort of by half time I was sat up and ready to go. And then the last sort of 2 or 3 minutes, I looked and I was like, this has literally got me on my feet, and that's what rugby league does, I think, in a lot of cases, and that's what's great. And we've been lucky this weekend that we've had 4
thrilling,
really good adverts in lots of different ways. We've run the gambit of rugby league in 4 games this weekend, and it only adds to the excitement I'm feeling for what we're going to get this weekend coming as well. Though
it might be a letdown after all that, but Fafita to get over and score that try, that was remarkable.
Yeah, he's a good player. I really like him. He's perhaps a bit of a he's got a lot of mongrel in him on and off the pitch.
He makes some questionable decisions.
His life choices notwithstanding, he's a hell of a rugby league footballer, isn't he? So fair play. And we even got feedback on this one, Mark.
Oh, tons. Who's going to read out this first one?
Well, this is why. Well, no, you know what this is, though, don't you? This is 3 Lions.
Yeah, but football was coming home because it was the country that invented it.
Yeah.
This was a team that popped up 50 years ago and have basically just been around wearing sky blue and racism like it was a bad song.
Don't forget all the steroids.
Yes, of course. How can I forget? Anyway, Colin Render...
Not exactly a team that could claim the moral high ground.
Colin Render got in touch. He said, one shot on a shirk, Paul Gallen...
What? No. Not one shart on a shirt.
Shark on a shirt?
Yeah, thank you.
One shark on a shirt, Paul Gallen still screaming, 50 years of hurt, Sharky fans still dreaming, it's coming home, the NRL trophy is coming home.
Yeah, it's, to be fair and completely accurate, it's never actually... It's going somewhere it's never been before. So it's far from going over. It's going on its holidays.
For creativity,
yeah, Mark's
Colin Render gets 10 out of 10.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wally Frogmore got in touch. He said the Melbourne clinical machine style play brought unstuck by the ad-lib style displayed by the Sharks. What a great game to finish the season. Cronk was so invisible in this game that Chambers didn't even see him to pass for what would have been the match winner.
Yeah.
Fair play to the Sharks and their fans. Now I need to have a shower after saying that. Ew.
Actually, and credit to Wally, he tweeted me personally along with another group and a larger group of what I assume are other Cronulla fans as well, and say congratulations. So he's a classy chap, Wally, isn't he? He has his moments. Chris Macy.
Well, I was going to say.
He has his moments.
Chris Macy said, wow, how awesome was that? Sharknado certainly didn't disappoint. Melbourne's ability to shift that ball around was something to behold, and I really thought they were going to nab it at the death. Massive effort from both sides. It was structure versus heart, and the Sharks deserved that one. Their first half was immense, and somehow they pulled through in the second. Amazing match.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, Rich Wilkinson, he said, what a game, what a battle. The Storm could have nicked it a few times at the end, but the Sharks held on. NRL Grand Finals deliver year after year. It was a brutal contest. Massive congrats to the Sharks.
There you go. Okay, so that's last week's results taken care of. Let's take a look now into the future as we preview the Super League Grand Final. So there's only one game left, Mark, and it's quite an important one, really. I assume that you're going to predict in favour of your Wigan boys, but Warrington will play Wigan this Saturday evening, early evening, down at Old Trafford, in front of hopefully a near-capacity crowd.
Over 60,000 tickets sold as of Monday afternoon.
There you go, which is phenomenal. So that will be near capacity by the time we get to Saturday tea, won't it? In Manchester at Old Trafford. Oh, do you know what? I remember who the band that are on. I remember thinking now to have a look and see, because it was who was it last year?
Oh, it's Feeder.
Feeder this year. That's right.
Feeder.
Yeah, I wanted to say Cooler Shaker. It wasn't Cooler Shaker last year, was it?
No, it was
Charlatans.
Yes, and Charlatans. It was James the year before that.
There you go, that's it.
Following on the
so two sides going in on the back
almost forgotten India.
Yeah. So two sides coming at this, and there's a fag paper between them in a lot of senses, isn't there? I think... I don't even know where to start in talking about this one, because where you're missing key players, so are Warrington. When you look at people like, your fullback, and you look at it, I don't know if necessarily Chrissy Sandow's going to make the team for them. So there's some key explosive players there that are out. There's obviously people missing, in crucial people out of the pack that are missing. You've got Ben Curry, who's not going to be in there for Warrington.
Sandow and Bailey may make it.
Right. Okay.
Is the word coming out of the media day?
If they get some of those Paul Gallen vitamins in them before they go out, they might get on the field.
Which I think would be harsh on young Declan Patton.
I think it'd be awful. Declan Patton deserves to play that. Deserves to play that game. He's been brilliant for them.
Yeah, he has the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. He's coming in. He's really earned his stripes. The difference maker in this for me is going to be Darryl Clark and Steph Ratchford, and it's those two players and the explosivity that they have, particularly explosivity. It's an attitudinal thing. Their explosiveness, and I think that's going to be something that Wigan will have to control. And those two, for me, are going to be the difference makers. They're going to be the strike weapons, if you will, that really have the impact in this one, and that I foresee getting Warrington enough good position for people like Gidley and for Dec Patton to exercise what they've been doing for various portions of the year. And after that, there's a fag paper between you, for my money. So I think, all things being equal, I shade Warrington, but literally by a point to 4 points, really. I've gone 23-22 in favour of Wire.
It's two top defences meeting up against each other. It's a front three from Warrington that are as good as any front three. I would say not just in Super League. I genuinely